in regard to selling covered stock options, I get a lot of questions about how it works, what's the mechanics of it. And it is or it can be, a difficult subject to grasp. So I'm hoping this little video will clarify some of the things. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you like the video, hit like. Me and my channel appreciate that.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're jumping into something pretty interesting from your sources. Selling stock option contracts. Sounds complex, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
But we're aiming to kind of map out a clear path for you, a shortcut based on this material. And right off the bat, these sources highlight something foundational. You need a stable underlying stock. That seems key. It's not about wild speculation. And while, some sellers are just trading options quickly, your sources talk about a different approach, something called the transaction set method.
Yeah, and that method, it really reframes things. The sources use this great analogy.
The real estate one.
Exactly. Think about owning a rental property. Its market value, sure, it can go up, it can go down.
Right.
But ideally, it's consistently bringing in rent, income. This option strategy, viewed this way, is about collecting those premiums consistently.
So the focus shifts to income generation, not just price appreciation.
Precisely. You're sort of harvesting the premium using that time decay rather than just betting on direction.
Okay, that analogy helps. Let's dig into the mechanics then. What actually happens with the contracts themselves, the PUTs and the calls?
Right. So two main paths here. If the contracts, PUTs or calls, expire out of the money.
Meaning the stock price didn't hit the strike price level needed for exercise.
Correct. In that case, it's simple. You, the seller, just keep the premium you were paid up front. That's it.
That's the income part, like the rent.
Exactly. That's often the goal, pure income from the premium. But what if they are exercised? It's a bit different then.
Okay.
If a PUT contract you sold gets exercised, the stock gets assigned to you. You buy it at the strike price. And that price, that's now your cost basis for those shares. You essentially bought the stock maybe at a discount because of the premium you already received.
Right. And for call contracts?
If a call you sold is exercised, the stock you're holding to cover it is assigned from you. It's called away at the strike price. And here's a key point from the sources. Any profit or loss on the stock itself is only realized at that moment when it's actually called away. Until then, it's just on paper.
Unrealized. Okay, that makes sense. So fast forward, what happens when the underlying stock is eventually sold? What are the final outcomes the sources describe?
Well, when you finally liquidate that stock position, maybe after several option cycles, your sources point to two main possibilities. One is the optimum outcome, which is achieving a capital profit.
I guess capital gain.
Exactly. And that's usually taxed at lower rates than regular income, which is, a definite advantage highlighted in the material.
Tax efficiency. Got it. What's the other scenario?
The other is a capital loss. But here's where it gets interesting based on your sources.
Mm-hmm.
That loss isn't just, a straightforward loss. It's reduced by all the premiums you collected along the way, from selling both the CLLs and the PUTs related to that stock position. And also, if you were assigned stock from a PUT at a price lower than where you eventually sell a call, that can help offset or even wash out the initial paper loss from the PUT assignment. It cushions the blow, so to speak.
Ah, so the premiums act like a buffer against losses.
They do. It's a built-in risk management aspect of this specific method.
Now, theory and mechanics are one thing. Your sources mentioned real-world experience. I think it was 15 years.
That's right, 15 years applying this specific strategy.
And the bottom line, what kind of return did they report?
The figure mentioned is a little better than 20% average return on the investment at risk over that period.
Wow, okay. Over 15 years, averaging over 20%. That's pretty compelling, especially focusing on consistency rather than home runs.
It suggests that methodical premium collection on stable stocks can be quite powerful long-term. Less about market timing, more about, managing these transaction sets.
So recapping this deep dive, it really paints a different picture of selling options, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Using this transaction set method, it's less like gambling and much more like managing an income-producing asset, like that real estate example.
Mm-hmm.
You have clear paths to potential capital gains, and ways to actively manage and reduce potential losses using the premiums.
It definitely shifts the focus,
Yeah.
which leads to a final thought, maybe something for you, the listener, to consider.
Ooh.
If this strategy hinges so much on consistent income and managing risk via premiums, how do you actually find that stable underlying stock the sources keep mentioning? Figuring that out seems absolutely critical to making this whole approach work in practice.
Very practical question to leave us with. Finding that solid foundation. Lots to think about there. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope these insights spark some further exploration for you.